The South Rupununi in southwestern Guyana is the home of the indigenous Wapichan, Wai and Makushi peoples. We have lived here for millennia and have a deep relationship with and understanding of our traditional territories and all that comprises them. The mountains in the South Rupununi, including Marudi Mountain, are important landmarks that hold great spiritual and cultural significance for the Wapichan people.
Marutu Tao.
Marudi Mountain is located in the Wapichan's traditional territory, but our rights to this particular land and other large areas of our territory have not yet been legally recognized. For decades, non-Wapichan miners have been coming to Marudi to search for gold, which is reflected by the presence of mining companies in the region for over 80 years. In 1990, Romanex Guyana arrived on the scene. It is wholly owned by Guyana Gold Strike, a Canadian gold exploration company, which in turn is part owned by a Chinese mining corporation. Romanex currently has a mining license at Marudi, but it does not yet have an environmental permit to commence operations. Over the years, Romanex and the government have allowed small and medium-scale miners to work on the mountain, which unfortunately have opened the region up to prospectors. With no proper enforcement in place, this has had a devastating impact on the environment.
This is on top of Marutu Mountain. What we are seeing here now is some men working in the background there. These are what is termed as bagmen, simply meaning that they use their hands, hammers, chisels, and whatever they can to crack rocks.
Since Romanex opened up mining on the mountain, there have been gold rushes, with miners arriving from across Guyana and even from neighboring Brazil, tempted by the lax regulations. The growing scale of the mine and the increased presence of heavy machinery is having a devastating impact on the surrounding rainforest, rivers and creeks. The Wapichan are noticing the changes that are taking place.
At night, people would come out and view clouds. You would see white clouds just below you. So sometimes you feel you're above on the clouds. I mean, it wasn't like this. It wasn't hot like this before.
Maran iri dan an napad awun dan an tekpan amarapan ana tekpan de tikana soda tantan boran pe na ay me kan na kina an yaurar pe na ipat ka itkau kaya wa bayar tak urar kiya urar ke pe ni radot kau yan naik der waik der wa bayar tak ni marai de onan tiki kasa orang tekpan ay me kasa apat kau yan otherwise chak ratila kat kahara ay ri naur kum kular puwari imakana iwotan kiri nari puwari kanal bernawara.
This region is culturally and spiritually significant to the Wapichan people. Marudi and the mountains immediately surrounding it are the center of our mythology. One of the reasons that this is so important to our communities is that The South Rupununi and the mountains here are the source of fresh water resources. The mining is polluting the rivers, which damages fish spawning grounds and renders the water unsafe to drink.
This area is significant to the Wapichan people, mainly because all around here are watersheds, and if you destroy the mountain like you've seen here, you will destroy the watersheds. I think water is important for everything, for everybody, and it will be our duty to try and help protect these watersheds. Water actually comes from underground, out of this mountain, and that is very cold, and this is good for fish. So most of these streams and creeks that come around here or up to here are spawning grounds or spawning areas. So all this silt or erosion will end up into the creek, whereby it disturbs the natural flow of the river, which will in the end for me disturb that cycle, that spawning cycle that fish would come up here for.
Our people here cannot buy water in bottles. We use the water in the creeks. Wherever we walk, we drink the water from there. But if mining is going to continue, if this huge mining that's going to contribute to the large-scale mining in Marudi, a lot of, a lot of these, what I'm talking about, the disruptions of life, what I'm talking about, would intensify, it would multiply much more. So, that is, how do we deal with that?
Meranggar at nanan terruan uri iwot. Rapo it manuan. Na poik daun iwo orsap di. Iwo orsap srot palija wakap tahun bokitja wateran ni. Nan pe chena yana kupono ko dempen. Airen na pe tek pon kupono uri iwo orot nana patek.
As the miners gather here in search of gold, the Wapichan now are faced with a very problematic metal, mercury. Mercury pollutes the water that we drink and alarmingly contaminates the fish that are an important component of our diet. When ingested, mercury causes serious health issues including skin conditions, kidney damage, insomnia, memory loss, and other neurological and neuromuscular damage. Mercury can be passed on from a pregnant woman to her baby. The Wapichan now have implemented a water monitoring program intended to track the mercury as well as other water pollutants. As part of the program, monitors tested hair samples from local community members.
We collaborated with the World Wildlife Fund, and we were able to do the mercury test on people in 4 villages. And the village of Parabara, we found that the study found that the women were way above the safety level recommended by the World Health Organization, and that is very worrying.
Well, we depend on fish, what is living in our water. Well, people from outside coming in to our village saying that these fishes have mercury. If you know you are in with mercury, you will forget something, you will feel numb, or you will feel sick. Well, in that case, mercury is in your body.
For some Wapichan, the damage caused by mining on Marudi has not come as a surprise as it was forecast by our forefathers.
The real name is Darkness Mountain. It was a vision of, I think, the elders, where they saw that darkness would come upon this whole territory through this mountain. And my personal interpretation is environmental, problems, health problems, because you have trees, which is special to the elders, that get excavated, that rots, get into the water. You have airborne disease could happen, water disease could happen, and who knows what will happen in the future if this continue like this.
You find that there are the influx of outside influence, more or less, has been intense in recent times because of the rush for gold. So you have like Spanish and Brazilian speaking people out here. You have prostitutions. You have the spread of sexually transmitted infections and other diseases like dengue and mosquito-borne diseases are out here. And then now you have within our communities single mothers. So you know, children without fathers and kind of stuff like that. You have broken families as well. So the basic collective and peaceful fabric of our society like Aishaltan has been actually disrupted by the mining activities.
One way the Wapichan are trying to deal with the problems caused by the Marudi mine is by securing legal ownership of the land. However, even if the Wapichan achieve this, under the laws of Guyana, the existing mining concessions would likely still be valid and the government would still allow the large-scale mining operations to take place. The Wapichan are therefore seeking to have the entire watershed containing riverine headwaters declared off-limits to mining and subject to a special protection regime that is under our control. This will enable the Wapichan to preserve their land for their future generations, as they always have done, and to protect the headwaters of the rivers that flow through Guyana. The Wapichan understand better than anyone the dangers posed by the mining on Darkness Mountain, and they know how they can avert these dangers too.